So as you type in, you could. We have Mr. Fluellen. He is a mathematics, music technology, and computer science educator in the Atlanta Public School system. He actually teaches where he used to attend at Douglas High School. So that's awesome. He came back, giving back to the community. So I don't want to take up too much of his time. So I'm gonna go ahead and pass it over to Mr. Fluellen. You got it.
All right. Well, thank you. Welcome, everybody. So excited to see you. I am going to be sharing with you both some educational practices, ideas, concepts, a passion of mine, a connection, so to speak. And what I want to do is share my screen. So let me make sure I get this right. Share audio. Click it. Okay. Okay. All right. Let's try this first. All right. So my screen is going to, for a brief moment, change shape. Don't worry about that. I think I got it figured out. Just bear with me. All right. So as a math teacher, as a computer science teacher, as a music tech teacher, one of the things that I am tasked to do is to try to make the lessons that I have with the students relevant. And so one of the things that I have to do is, always consider the student interest and things like that to, make those connections realistic for the students and make class a little more interesting for them. So I found out about Earsketch, which is a program from a Georgia Tech student program within the program or within the school. And it allowed the students to create, using code, allowed them to create music. And so one of the things that, helps my coding class is a student interest is creating music. Now, the coding part of it, that's the struggle and the pull, but there's an immediate result and there is, the fun of creating something different. And so typically what I would do, can you see that screen when it pops up? I just have to double check here.
You talking about Ableton?
Yes.
It's up.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And so what I would do is I would show the students the concept of creating a beat. Okay. Now to them, it's like, oh yeah, I know how to do that. They might beatbox, they might tap on the table, whatever the case may be. But then showing them the structure of creating a beat. So what they would do is they would watch me drag in a empty rack, empty shell to place sounds in, okay? Or I would just drag in one that is pre-populated, all right? And so with this shell, this container of sounds, I asked them about how many sounds they have, what are the different sounds, and then, I would sample the different sounds. And it was okay with Mr. Floyd, and I noticed that the first sound is in the first slide, okay, and the second sound is in the second slide. And I'm like, all right, so if you wanted to create a pattern for this, okay, how would you create that pattern? And it's like, well, okay, what does that mean? All right, so lay the beat out. How would you do that? And so I would just model it for them. And hopefully, like I said, you can see the screen. I know it might be tiny. I don't know how to zoom, but I'll show you what I mean here. So I just start this counter. All right. And so what I would then do is open that particular layout, what I just set up physically with the drum pad, and ask the students to position where do each one of these items fall. And of course, well, this one came first and this one came second, and then there's nothing right here in this space, and then the next one comes. And then what I would do is pause, put a pin in it, and I would go to a set of code in Earsketch, like this. Yeah, okay. And so what you see on lines 15, 16, 17, and 18 are sampled sounds, okay? And then those sampled sounds, well, actually 15 and 16, those sampled sounds are then being used through the make beat function on a particular track, on a particular measure, or starting at a particular measure, and then running the pattern based on what is put in on line 16 and 17. Okay. And so in this platform, you can share some of the concepts between the way that you would make music on a drum pad and the way that you would make music in the Earsketch platform. Now, the sounds, there are plenty of sounds. I believe there's over 6,000 sounds. And each one of the lessons that they have in the system. So you click on curriculum. Oh, I turned it off. You click on curriculum, and then this little folder, 3 bars over here on the right hand side, it will show you all of the lessons. Okay. And before I walk you through creating something, I just want to show you all the stuff they can do real quick. Okay, so this particular code setup from 15 to 21, line 21, is just like laying out that beat setup for your own beat. Okay, all right. For the next one, well, actually, I'll do this one. For the next one, this is like the loop-based creation for music. So a lot of artists, you're wondering like, man, why do they sound the same? Same beat, same music, same, everything for many of them. And it's because they use a loop-based creation. And so that's kind of like if let me do this by variable, let me see, so let's just say I want a D minor, I want the song to be in D minor. So let's see here. Okay, speed that up just a tad. Bear with me, changing my tempo. All right, here we go. All right, so I just picked a sound and I'm dropping it into a particular place. I'll do the same thing for maybe some vocals. Gosh, that is really tiny. Okay. And I just drop a drum beat on there. Okay, so I have these 3 sounds that I've chosen, and all 3 of these sounds are on the first track, on the master track, okay? And so when I activate the master track, it will play each one of those sounds. comes time to record, switch over to the recording track, and you'll see that each one of those will populate on their individual tracks. All right, so after modeling that for your students, you can then go and show them the coding for it. And that's basically what I do. I go back and forth. So on line 16, I have 3 sounds. And then I'm using the sounds along with the array concept. So this is just an array of sounds or a collection of sounds like I had in the workstation. And then each one of the fit medias call the sound from the array. So 18 is using the first sound, 19 is using the second sound, and 20 is using the third sound. In addition to telling which sound to play, it tells you which track to be on. So the first section here is which track to be on. The second set of numbers is the starting measure, and the last set of numbers is the ending measure. Okay, so when I click run, and forgive my computer, it is upset with me about running all of these things at the same time, but it's gonna have to make do. Okay, so when I click run, I get the very same kind of layout that I have in my professional software. And so the kids, they'll play it like it or not, but here's what it sounds like. Okay. So in this coding exercise, which we do for extensions, which we do on Fridays, as just a fun way to reinforce ideas in the classroom, they come up with some pretty interesting things. All of the sounds are interchangeable, which you can get from the very first folder. Okay, the very first folder. And then you can put the sounds in, you can look for them, you can type them. But what I want to do is I want to walk everybody through this. So the very first thing, sorry about the screen flickering. The very first thing that I would like everyone to do is go to the Earsketch landing page, which I will drop into the chat box. Yeah, Jared, they do have educational discounts. It's not dramatic, but it is definitely a discount, especially if you get the full software license for a class. I believe it's almost 25%. Okay. So once you go to the Earsketch platform, you will land on this page, and then you just click Get Started. Okay. And once you click Get Started, it'll take a few seconds for it to load. All right, and it'll bring you to a screen like this. And in the middle of the screen, you might get an option to choose your language. So you can do either Python or JavaScript. I'm still playing around with both, but the class that I teach is using JavaScript, so I typically will use JavaScript. Okay. And then once you get there, you add a script. So you add a script, it'll ask you for a script name. I've just been calling these testers. So tester 4, choose your language, and then click create. All right. And once you get in there, there's a folder on the left-hand side. At the very top left-hand side, it has all of the commands for you to use. So you can use fit media, you can use set effect, you can use make beat to do some very basic things. But the first one that, or the one that we're going to use today, would be, let's try the make beat function. Okay. So with the make beat, you have to create variables, and with those variables, you're going to attach a sound. All right. So it's hard for me to see both people at the same time. Let me see if I can do something about that. Yeah, that's true, Jared. Very true. Okay, I don't think I can do both at the same time. All right, so let me see if I copy this. It might make it faster. If someone doesn't mind, can you check to see if that is copyable? That's not really a word. Can that be copied and pasted into your Earsketch platform? All right. And basically what happens here is after you give each one of those variables, the first two variables, a sound, you will then lay out the pattern for that sound. All right. So you have rest, spaces, ties, positioning. But I would start with something simple where you can just, the zeros is where the sound will actually take place. Just like the notes here. Wait, where'd it go? Oh, I changed it, sorry. There it was. Stop. Okay.
It copies as one line.
It does? Okay, yeah. So you have to, yeah. I tried it before and okay. Bad word. Okay. Let me see. And it could be, well, maybe everybody can space that out. Let me see if I can bring this back up. Hold on. Oh. Let's try that one more time. There we go. Okay.
Okay, if you all copied it into your Earsketch platform, basically this point, go ahead and put your cursor after every semicolon and then click enter. See, somebody, Ms. Bush just said that in the chat, separate by semicolons.
Yep, I got you.
And then
thank you, Ms.
Rick said, if you click Shift Control V, it should work.
Shift Control, yeah. So Chrome shouldn't be an issue, but it's strange because for 2.5 months I could not get Chrome to run it, and when I contacted somebody, they told me to try it again, and it worked today. Typically I use Edge, but now my Edge is not working, so but it should function pretty much the same way. So each one of those zeros represents the placement of a note. All right. If you did this with the array list, it could be different sounds, and then each location in the array would be a different number. Okay. So test it and see what you come up with.
That's funny.
And then if anyone would like to share, that would be nice. All right. Let me do this. Copy this over. All right. Okay. Check back on this thing. Hold on 1 second. Stop. All right. Good. Okay. So with the Earsketch program, essentially each one of the lessons builds on the other, and so the kids will start by just placing sounds, picking a measure, picking a let me put that up. Do it again. Okay. All right. They will start by using something like Fit Media and just placing the track and the measure start and stop point. Okay. From there, they will evolve their code based on the same principles of your other potential JavaScript lessons. And so the fun thing about it, like I said, is because they can get an instant result. The second fun thing about it is there are lots of competitions that are held by the people that run this particular page. And so, they have various artists, which to my knowledge continue to change, that allow you to remix their songs. They have some kind of deal with Amazon where the kids are getting gift cards and things like that. And then each one of the items can be downloaded and used. So, they want to download it and re-upload it for something for themselves to rap on. If they want to share a file, it can be shared between people, which is how it gets submitted for the competitions. And the general idea is just for them to enjoy a piece of coding. Sometimes some of the tasks and things that we give them are, no, I don't want to use that word. I never want to use that word. Are very straightforward and rigid. Okay, but this allows them to kind of express themselves and show some creativity. So I wanted to play this one again. I'm going to run it. Is this the first folder? Oh, okay. Thank you. Because I can't see that with this thing jumping with all of these extra windows here. So the thing to do at the end would be to follow up with, I would do a complete layout like this. All right, just waiting on that to show up. I would do a complete layout like this and then ask the students to write the code for it. Okay, so then they might tell me, all right, these are my different tracks. These are the elements of my array, and then they would write the code, and then we just have a discussion about the relevance and the setup of such. Okay, so nice little fun activity that you can do, and it goes through quite a bit of content. And the more that they do it, the rest that they will, the more that they do it, the better that they will become at coding, as well as making music. All right. So I don't want to run through all of my time. Do I have any questions from anyone?
You have a good 11 minutes left.
I know. I wanted to share some things before I end it. Any questions?
We might have some musicians in the audience. They were familiar with Ableton already.
Yeah, please, I put my information in there. That's available for any type of social media or my web page or anything like that. If you want to do some collabs with lesson planning for Earsketch, because it is expandable. You can put your own sounds in there. You can put samples from different people in there. Yes, I do.
Oh yeah, Dr. Franklin Jones.
Yeah, she is also my sister. She was adopted the day she arrived. That straight talking person there is amazing. So yeah, what I wanted to do at the very end here, if there aren't any additional questions, and I'm just going back through the strange chat box here, making sure. Okay, is give you kind of a spectrum for how what's that? Oh yeah, how this can like really just be expanded on. So give me 1 second. Let me pull up this. Where was it?
Well, I know Mr. Fluellen stated that you can use JavaScript and Python in Earsketch. It does have a really nice curriculum that kind of takes you through those concepts and syntax and everything. But in addition, especially for like middle schoolers or younger students, you don't have to jump straight into typing code. They do have block coding options for Earsketch as well.
I was about to show that and the competition here. All right. So assuming that my screen just shit. Okay. So let me shrink this a little bit. All right, in their competition, Celebrity Song Remix, which is where I would suggest anybody start, it starts with 3 basic functions: fit media, set effect, and make beat. And when you go through each one of the items, there's a video, and then it kind of points out all of the details, you know, how it relates and the connections and things like that. And as you're walking the students through the coding, all you have to do is click on your settings, which is the little gear right here in the middle next to run, and click the blocks mode. Okay. And the block mode allows you to just basically enter values. Excuse me. Enter values and use pull down menus. Okay. So I think that's a little easier getting started. But when I introduced it to the students, they had already been typing some code, and so I just kind of bypassed the block code. But your list of items is on the left hand side. Excuse me. And I mean, it's, you know, I guess the more you know about it, because some of them I don't quite recognize, just being honest there. But you use them, you drag them into place, and then you decide where you want it to be. So, I don't know, make beat slice. Okay. And then you will put in the file name. You can decide what track number, what measure number, type those items in, and then it works. And the whole goal of the program is to mimic all of the tools that you would find in a regular program. So this particular track I actually did in Earsketch, and then somehow I can't remember my original login name. So please, by all means, remember your login name, because I can't remember which one I use. I have like 5 now. But this is how it came out, and I just used a bunch of fit medias, which is why it is so very neat as it is. But I'll share a piece of that with you. So all I did there was just upload my sounds into the Earsketch platform, and then once I uploaded them in there, I laid the stuff out, and then I tried to keep that file, but I have to remember which Earsketch one that is in. It does save to the name that you have, but if you have more than one name, it is not interchangeable. So I think that's just about it. If anyone has any more questions, I'm going back through the block here.
Okay, so I did want to take this time to thank you all for visiting us, and Mr. Fluellen, thank him for volunteering his time to actually present tonight. If you did come in late, recordings will be available on the Constellations Center for Equity and Computing's YouTube page. I just posted a link in the chat as well. And you can, also visit us at our website, and I'm gonna go ahead and post that Constellations website. Okay. Because we do offer different professional developments and workshops and summits throughout the year as well. And we love to have not just computer science teachers, but other teachers as well, because we know we're going to be pulling a lot of teachers in Georgia, if you're in Georgia, from other disciplines to help teach computer science. So we need your colleagues to come and join these, and they're free right now. So come and join these workshops and sessions and summits and things like that. So we do thank you. It is 5:52, and we have our next round of sessions that will begin at 5:55. If you are a new computer science teacher, or you teach students new to computer science, or you teach young students, I'm actually going to do a session at 5:55 on Carol the dog. So we will be using block coding in that. So you can come join us over there, okay? All right, thank you all for attending. Any other questions, you can ask Mr. Fluellen for a couple of minutes more or what have you. I'm going to go ahead and get ready for my session.
Okay.
Thank you.
I'll stick around.
Okay.
All right. So yeah, my biggest thing is I'm just trying to expand, computer science into student interest. So I actually have an upcoming project for RC cars, where the students can program the speed controllers and the controlling cars for the speed controllers, so that we give them more opportunities. Just typing in the thing to get a circle to show up or something is just, it's not enough, I don't think. But that's just me. Anyway, let me jump into one of these other sessions. Again, thank you guys for coming, and please share resources, anything. I'll drop my email address in here. Feel free to contact me. All right. See y'all in the next section.